was making it work, but
welcome back to another episode of 8 Black Hands. That is Ray with a really snazzy, nice microphone. For those that can't see, that's only on audio. That's Chris Stewart. Our brother Sharif is traveling and will be with us very soon. But you have had another week of. We had a really big election that happened. There was some surprises. There's been a lot happening in Black culture, and we got a few different things we're gonna touch on. But I'm gonna throw it to Ray because we've been going through a bunch of different articles and clips and things in the news, and there was something that caught Ray's eye. And when Ray gets excited, I think we just need to let him have the mic and just go. So, brother, you do your thing.
I don't know about all that, but I'm excited about a couple of different things, right? And so the way we'll start the show off, we'll start it off like this. I feel like it was another opportunity for folks to go out and vote and for America to sustain democracy, right? And I feel like that worked out well for most, right? So I wanted to get y'all's thoughts in terms of like Black men, how they showed up, if they showed up, and just like what are the pinnacle moments that occurred in this election that are memorable for you guys and that we can discuss, right? So jumping right in, Chris, what's your take, man? Tuesday.
Well, I mean, it's not a strong take. It's just what everybody kind of knows right now is that we were expecting things to be a bloodbath, kind of. We were expecting there to be like a red wave, and it turned out to be just kind of like a purple surge, you know. Like, it's kind of like a mixed salad, you know. It was good in some places, not good in some other places or whatnot. I mean, listen, we're still gonna have divided government, mixed government. I was just worried that we were about to see this wave of kind of like authoritarian rule about to take over, and it didn't happen, so I'm happy about it. All of the prognostications and all the other stuff, you know, like will Black men show up for Stacey Abrams and all that, it feels like I'm losing every election. I'm losing more and more faith in people that predict things, like experts and predictors, because they're doing me wrong just in every election, probably for the last 4 or 5 elections. It just feels like I don't know how you hire them. How do you get their jobs? Y'all tell me, how do they get their jobs? Like, I want that job where you could just be wrong constantly and still have work.
Well, you could be Nate Silver and get it really, really, really right.
Yes.
One time and ride that thing for a decade plus now. When did Obama first get elected?
Yeah. And then he's wrong, you know, after that forever.
Well, guess who was right?
Who was right?
Ray Ankrum, baby. I was right.
Were you?
So it was several shows ago, right?
Okay.
When I said specifically that this was not going to be a red wave, that it was going to be a blue wave.
I was the only one that was wrong, though. I want to be fair because Chris said that it wasn't going to be. Sharif said that it wasn't going to be. I said that I did feel like it was going to be a little bit more. I didn't think. I mean, like super drastic, but I think all three of y'all were right. But I do remember like saying that, and Chris and you and Sharif all kind of being like, nah, probably not. So I'm just, to be fair, that did happen. I remember it because I came ready for the smoke, and I can say when I was wrong. I think, and I'm glad I was wrong. You know what I mean? I think I'm definitely glad I was wrong, but I think there's a few things that we saw from this, right? One, I think right now that was a hard pivot on the Republicans. And I don't know, y'all always say I'm smoking. Y'all should talk to Sharif about his smoky ass room right now.
I was about to say, damn, what is going on in your room, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, Reef, don't do that, man. Our public image is important for us.
So listen. So
if that was true, what you doing on the screen? Look at him all crisp and whatnot. Dang. Yeah, you got a Kodak camera and Kodak moments. Yeah, that's what's up.
So one of the things that I learned that I think is huge is I think that it did make a shift from being Trump's Republican Party to DeSantis's Republican Party. I think that I think that and Fox News immediately jumped ship. Like, I mean, immediately. like things that like they were critical of Trump in ways that I had not seen them be critical of Trump in a long time. The other thing is I think there's this we have to kill this false narrative about this division of Black men and Black women as voting, and we showed yet again that we are one of the strongest voting blocks ever. In Georgia, all of the Black people that voted, when you add up Black men and Black women collectively, they went for a net 90%, and that's a huge, powerful voting block. I wish we got more for that vote, but
you get nothing for it.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that there's been this narrative, and there were people gearing up to kind of blame black men, or black men let this down or let that down. No, let me tell you who let you down. There's a lot of white women that you love that wore them pink hats, that got Black Lives Matter signs and a whole bunch, and they went in that booth, and only 25% of them showed up for you. So them people that sometimes people be standing next to as black people to
allies,
go men, you need to have that. Yeah, I think you got to have that heat for them. So those are two of the big things that I saw. And then I think finally from the election, this is the first time as an adult that I haven't voted in an Oakland election. I voted here in my town, and I'm in the black place, and it was like these black women. The Zetas came out and helped them, but they were just so sweet, man. And I was up early, and these black women and these old black men were just out super early and super nice. And it just was really cool being at a place where it wasn't nothing but black voters. And they was talking and, giving you hugs and had food and coffee. And it was just really cool. So those are my takeaways, man.
Yeah. Hey, Reeve, jump in here, man. We're talking about election takeaways. That predicted red wave that never happened. Jump in here, buddy.
Look, all I can say is PA saved the day. All right. So y'all better put some spec on our names. You know what I mean? Like in the Pennsylvania area, despite all the lunatics that live in the state, folks showed up in the city and the suburb. So look, we still got a lot of work to do, man. We still got a lot of work. My biggest thing is folks are gonna, even if they get the Senate, if they get the House, whatever, like folks are keen to celebrate stuff that it ain't ready. It ain't time to celebrate. I just don't know why everything turns into a party. That's my thing. Like, just This is the start of the work. It's not the middle. It's not one quarter in. It is at the very, very start. And the last time I recall, even if we see advancement and control over House and Senate, last time I saw that, I didn't see much get done specifically for our communities. So, but I see people already raring to go and celebrating. Oh, look at this. It was the blue wave and all these new hats. Like, yo, man, save that nonsense. Like, you know what I mean? It's like coming off of, getting resuscitated. You still in a coma, but you celebrating. Like, yeah, you say like, oh yeah, I'm glad this part happened. We still in the bed, laid up. Like, you know what I mean? We still got like massive
way to look at things, bro.
Look, man, I'm a realist, man. I'm a pragmatic revolutionary, and I just look at things how they are. And I know that from history, we'd love to like get drunk on the small wins, celebrate the small wins, but do it with a high five, a hug, and then get back to work. Yeah, we want to like kick out the beverages and the libations and all that kind of stuff.
Yo, so my question to y'all is this, right? Democrats get these wins, right? And then for 2 years, folks back off. They don't really put pressure on these politicians. They don't really keep them to their promises. They don't do any of those things. If you're giving advice to voters right now in terms of like how you hold people's like feet to the fire in terms of like what you promised, what's your advice to them?
I mean, my thing is turn up the heat. Don't turn it down. When you get somebody that made promises to you, turn up the heat. We as you said, we turn it down and just like, well, at least so-and-so's not in there. At least those red guys ain't in there. That's what we're like satisfied with that. And like, that's the recipe for disaster for our people, man. I think that's been a pattern, man. It's like a psychological brain freeze when it happens. It's like eating ice cream too fast for some folks. This is what it's like. And we just get stuck. And listen, I would say turn up the heat. However you showed up to get the vote out, to get the, all that, do plus 10, do plus 20 now, because they like, hey, you're in there. Some promises were made. Here's the list of promises, and we ain't moving, we ain't budging until some of this stuff gets done.
Right. Like that. Charles, what do you think?
Well, we skipped Chris. I mean, on his initial reaction.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, he's been ready. He's go ahead, brother.
No. I don't feel like y'all skipped me.
No, we did. It was that doesn't matter if you feel like that. It happened.
Folks, if you're listening right now, we skipped Chris.
Nah, you good, man.
You know what I find interesting is how we have allowed the victories to frame our issues in ways where even our wins are not as big of wins as they should be. So we talk about education on this podcast. I wonder, what did we win for education? Like, if we talk about wins, like, what did we win in terms of policies and practices that are going to be delivered to our young people at some point that's going to make a difference? We didn't really win a lot. The education issue was framed as parental rights, school choice, CRT versus kind of inclusion and that stuff. That has nothing to do with education and practices and policies that we want for ourselves. The police and criminal justice issues, we've wanted police reform for years and we still need it. But we let that be a referendum on defund the police versus, we support law enforcement or whatever. It's like the wrong questions are at play between the white left and white right. And we're not the architects of what the white left and the white right are arguing about in these elections where it's really a battle between them. It's not a battle, but like, we vote and we participate, but really, if we're very honest, we're voting in somebody else's game. Like, we're playing in somebody else's NFL. And like, we can make plays if we want to, but we're not actually running the business. So when they define the issues around police justice, poverty, racial justice, social justice, any of those things, economics, a lot of times, Charles talks about this a lot, we are BIPOC'd into, free college is good for everybody, Yeah, but it's not specifically the thing that we're asking for us. We need a specific program for HBCUs and for us and for our particulars. No. Just let's Bernie BIPOC it all together and just Medicare for all. And, and yes, there is a benefit for us for things like Medicare for all, for free college, those things. But we're not the architects of those things. So that's my only point, is like, even when we have wins, one of the wins that we have, I think Sharif just hit on, our defensive wins. We stop somebody else from doing something really crazy. Yay! We stop crazy people from coming to lynch us. Cool. And then the other win is kind of like a BIPOC defined, universal, all lives matter, everything, whatever win. Where's our win? Like where we designed the conversation.
Yeah, man. Eddie Murphy talked about that on, like, I don't know if it was Delirious or Raw, but the saltine, this is a saltine moment. If you're starving, a saltine tastes great.
Yes.
If you're starving, a saltine tastes great. But this was not a Ritz, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Like, and I think that, like, I mean, really, let's just be honest. I mean, I always vote. So I feel like I can say what I want about the election. I don't know if that level of catharsis is there for me the way it was during the Obama election, or even when I was too young. But I remember when it was George Bush and Al Gore, or certain things like that. I think I 1000% agree with what Sharif was saying, right? Like, like we just got to set our standards a little bit higher, right? Like, this is just part one. Like, this is like just okay, cool. This is what we are. Here go the things that you need to probably pay attention to, because the Republicans you need to worry about they didn't win closely. They won in a landslide. They won like crazy, and power has shifted, and these are people that know how to wield power, and two, these are people that have been tired of being under Donald Trump, and now they got some breathing room, and they're about to do what they do. DeSantis is about to DeSantis a lot, and I know how Chris feels about getting Gavin in there. I will say this, because I talked about this on the Black and Brown show I do on Fridays. When you vote in a 90% block, which is a beautiful thing, it can be a beautiful thing. It can, if you can like maneuver and use that block to negotiate and get what you want. But with our brown people, our brown brothers and sisters, right? Like, they have so many different crews inside that they can't just have one singular message to that community, because they don't know who they're talking to. They don't know how that thing is going to cut. And what happens with that is that they all have to get campaigned to. And I think that's one of the things. And I think that's why you got so much of this black men let us down or whatever, because we got turned into a monolithic voting block. And it was like, yo, these are the powerful people with the powerful voices in this black group. So that's who we're going to talk to. And you had all this infighting before things had started. So I just want us to be smarter. Like you said, Sharif, I don't want us to settle for the crumbs. Don't settle for the saltine, baby. You a Ritz. You deserve a Ritz. So get you a Ritz cracker, man.
I just want to ask y'all something. Like, let's do this right now. The four of us right now.
We're not doing this.
Let's do this right now. can we take a boot and stomp on the neck of whoever and whatever is responsible for the black men not showing up narrative?
Yeah,
can we stomp that? What's it when you get a Kirby? Can we put the teeth of it on the curb?
Oh my God. Oh
yeah. Can we put the teeth of that? So let's take this narrative. People imagine with me, if you will, the narrative that black men are not showing up like they're supposed to show up and blah, 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 blah. Let's take that narrative and put its teeth on the curb.
Yeah.
And then what happens with the Kirby? What do you do after that? You take a boot to the back of the neck and you stomp its teeth out, because this is the most asinine, ridiculous, but strong and durable.
Yeah. Hey, but if you're gonna do that with that, man, we gotta do that with black followers too. Yeah. We gotta put
but let's start with this one, because we said 3 times in this show what the actual, I think we did, what the actual results turned out to be.
Yeah.
Right. And there's still activity on Twitter, still dragging black men, which y'all did to Stacey Abrams was wrong and blah blah blah.
So my question to you guys, right, and taking that further, and Charles, you hit on this with the brown vote. You saw a good many of folks that are down in Miami-Dade County vote for the
sandwich.
The clan,
the clan sandwich.
Yeah, the clan sandwich. So you saw a good many of brown folks vote for him. He carried Dade County, bro. You know how meaningful that is for somebody to carry Dade County?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. He is coming, bro. He is coming. Like you know, like when in Avengers and when they beat up the Hulk and then he turned back into the regular dude and they was like, who's coming? He's like, Thanos is coming. Like he is winning over people that don't just look like white people, fam. Like I just need people to understand Florida is different. And like and I think that like these people are gearing up. Now I'm not trying to be a demagogue or over worry people, but I think if you're paying attention, that was a big sign in that party. And if people in the Democratic side are paying attention, it's a big indicator for them as well. Especially since here's where it might come back to bite us a little bit, because there was a lot of talk, if this had been a red wave, of potentially maybe platforming, not platforming, but I'm gonna say platform, but you know what I mean, Biden, right? Like making sure Biden had to run again. But now that Biden has carried this, that's giving him a life force, and they're not going to play that game. And I don't know how Biden does against a DeSantis. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this carries over. 2 years can be a very long time, but this is probably one of the potential places because people might get comfortable.
I think you guys are reading too much into this, right? As being a member of the party, I know the stronghold that Trump still has on the party, and his ability to divide that vote still puts him at a competitive advantage over the clan sandwich, right? And so
this idea this idea that he's won over, I mean, that DeSantis has, that they're going to depose Trump and his people and his voters really quickly, that's fantasy. Yeah. They're trying real hard. You mentioned it, Charles, like Fox News and everybody, they're trying to pivot.
They trying to from up under him,
but it's not working.
But you know what could
not
work?
Yet. Not yet.
A civil war between the two could work.
I'm here for it. I'd love that for them. yeah, I'd love that for them. Yeah.
And so I guess next up, right? So there's a video that's circulating. I'll play the video and then we'll go to reaction.
Deep down in my heart, I'm ethnocentric, which means I think my race is the superior one.
Oh, I say it.
Wait, no, let me finish.
Hey, look. So white is better than all.
No, let me finish.
Go ahead. Hey.
I think everybody thinks that. They're just not honest about it.
Hey, I'm not racist though. I like all types of colors.
Did I say I don't like people?
People only think that.
Wait, so you said you are what? You are racist?
You're saying you're like...
You're
I
racist?
think everybody's a racist at that level.
No, you said you are racist. Correct?
I did. Yeah, I'm trying to be honest.
Yes, I'm racist.
No, I'm not saying it again. I've said it enough.
So you're racist.
I think I should like tell you to stop speaking.
Put your phone up.
I actually respected you for a while, but like
I'm putting
now,
your phone up.
I don't even got no more respect for you.
Put it up.
Yeah, for real. I don't think I got respect for him no more, bro.
You know, you should have more respect because I'm.
Hey, the kid, hey man, I used to respect you. I respected you for a while. I got no respect for you no more,
bro. So initial take, Reef. I know you about to kill it. So what's your initial take on that, man?
Man. Look, I mean, this is what I'll say is, man, this is like not it's not new. It's new that it's being captured. We've all know young folks who come home and say, yo, my teacher's in the KKK. You know what I mean? Like that's happened more than once for a lot of children and youth. And my thing is, whatever he expressed in that classroom, that has shown up in his lesson plans, that has shown up in his conversations and communication to families, that has showed up in the expectations that he has for those children. You know what? That showed up in whoever gave him a certificate to come in that community and teach. There's been a long line. So that ain't new. It's just like we have new technology being, used to capture it. But it was always captured in the old technology: chalk, blackboard, copy machine, whatever technology used to enter grades, capture lesson plans. Man, this is a pervasive mindset. He's just happened to be kind of honest about it.
Chris, what's your thoughts?
Research has told us for a long period of time that we have teachers walking into classrooms every single day that have the wrong attitudes about our kids, the wrong beliefs about their ability to achieve, that our kids are less likely to be chosen for gifted and talented when you use teacher recommendations as one of the ways that they can get into gifted and talented. What does that tell you? Even when they're qualified, they're 100% qualified to go into those higher levels. But if it is requiring a teacher recommendation to get you there, few of them actually make it. Our kids are seen as, older than they actually are. I've run through these a million times on this show. Research tells us that our kids are seen as less innocent, older than they actually are. They're adultified. When you take teachers and you have them watch a classroom and make them watch for bad behavior, their eyes intentionally gravitate towards Black students. So to Sharif's point, this isn't new. This isn't anything that we should be shocked about, but we get gaslit. I call it race lighting. We get gaslit on race all the time, like we're making it up. Like our kids don't know that they have racist ass teachers, that they have. This dude right there, like think about this situation right now. All the white kids in that class see a white man saying, I think that my race is superior, right? Cool. It doesn't affect them the same way that now every non-white kid in that class, every kid that is not white in that class has a different relationship with the entire institution of education and authority from that moment on. They should, if they're healthy, if they're spiritually and mentally healthy kids, they should have a different relationship after that comment. But what you gonna do? He's not the only one, right? We've also had other clips on this show. We had a young white teacher at Ben Franklin in New Orleans who was arguing that he can say nigger in the classroom. And the Black kids were saying, you can't say that. And he was saying, yeah, I can say that. It's just a word now. And blah, blah, blah. He's arguing with them, right? Mm-hmm. We could do a whole show on these type of clips and we'd find enough to work with.
Yeah, but this shit, Charles, jump in.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, because I feel like you have an excitable response.
I just this shit makes me so angry, bro. It makes me so angry because when I look at it, I think about it as in terms of like the difference between subtle racism and overt racism, right? So on the one hand, I want to know if you ain't rocking with me. I want to know if you ain't rocking with Black people, right? So then I could determine how.
Did that sound weird to y'all too?
That sounded like new age hip hop. You know what I mean?
Determined. Yeah, I thought he was about to kick into some bars. Yeah. I thought he was about to do bars. I was like, what?
Yeah, that new fancy microphone betrayed you, brother. Go ahead, continue, brother.
I don't know. All right, but so man, I would just rather know, right? And so if you do simple math in terms of like how many racialized white people show up in terms of like who's teaching. 80% of folk that teach are racialized white people. And so, granted, I'm not trying to, put everybody in this category because everybody's not in this category, right? So I don't want to come at it with like a swath and be like everybody's racist because I don't believe that. However, it's a lot of folks that come in every day, and parents need to be more intentional in terms of like turning your kids over to the enemy. I think Malcolm said it. Reef says it all the time and paraphrases it and doesn't attribute it to Malcolm. But yeah,
my whole orientation can be attributed to Malcolm. So anything after that, it's already been attributed, bro.
Boom.
Oh my God.
Now go ahead with your point.
That's what he just said. He said, "I got the front seat forever."
But so I worry about us, right? I worry about our community. I worry about our kids every day that we're sending our kids to these schools, and I don't know what to do. I know what to do on my end in terms of like, you know, just policing my own school and my involvement with our school. But I just think about people that are not as conscious as me, people that don't care as much as I care, and how many things folks are getting away with in terms of like spirit dimming our babies. And I hate that shit for kids, man. I walked into a school that will remain nameless. Kindergartner brought a gun to the school, was waving the gun around in the school.
Is that the 6-year-old?
That's the 6-year-old, yeah.
What school was this?
The school shall remain nameless.
Why shall it remain nameless?
And it like national news?
It is, and so if y'all want to say the school, y'all can. But I'm affiliated in some other kind of way with the school, so I don't want to pull. I don't
know the name of the school necessarily, but I think you should.
I mean, if it was your school, I'd be like, it happened at Ray's school. We got.
Hey, don't say that. Hey, so folks, if you're listening, this shit didn't happen at Ray's school.
I'm just saying, like, you wasn't. You're not talking shit about nobody. You just saying what actually happened.
So it happened at Boys Prep, Boys Prep Elementary School. Right?
In the Bronx,
yeah. And so Boys Prep Elementary School is a CMO that's a collective of Boys Prep and Girls Prep, right? And that is the former school district that used to be run by Ian Rowe.
Oh, so maybe that 6-year-old didn't know the success sequence. Maybe somebody should just told him. Yeah, maybe somebody should have just taught him the success.
This is the petty segment of the show. Got it. Let me get my answer.
No. Well, wait. Before you say that, let me say this then, because this is not petty, but it's important to say. We talk about, and so I don't need the full screen, but whatever. When we talk about what we were just talking about just now, the thing that was going through my mind is how many people in our network who have that attitude of that teacher that get by because we work with them on something, or we used to work with them or something, or we sit on panels with them sometimes. So I'm not thinking about the broad world out there or every teacher in America. I'm thinking in my own. I'm just like, listen, if you're listening to this and you are not an insider, I'm telling you as an insider on some things in the education world, that the feeling, the sentiment in that teacher that we saw or we just heard from is a sentiment that is actually within education advocacy and philanthropy and some rooms I've been in and some panels I've sat on. And there are people that who are a part of the Twitterati, who like to tweet things about E.D. Hirsch and the canon and the core knowledge or whatnot, who do believe that Western civilization is white civilization and it's superior to anything that multiculturalists have ever come up with, right? And if you have seen me change within the last year and break ties with a lot of people, it's because this teacher that we just heard from, actually the sentiment that he was saying to those kids right there is actually the sentiment within people that I've broken ties with. Yeah. I'm just going to stop there and move on.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Well, and listen, we got universities who still to this day give out books, or matter of fact, not give out, demand that their students who are supposedly learning how to teach coming into our communities. And this is why communities need to certify the educators that come in their schools, but that's a different show. Like Diane Ravage's books. Diane Ravage, what that guy said, Diane Ravage believes that. And she's said that in the past in just different ways, but the same mindset, same determination to, make one group supreme and other groups inferior. And we got Black professors who assign her books to their white students who are coming to, teach our kids, man. This is, that mindset. He just said it in a crass way. They just got more sophisticated language and tricks and traps about it. Same exact stuff, bro.
Yeah, I think I guess I was.
That's why you always got to be mad, right?
I enjoy watching. Okay, I don't need the full screen. Just keep it here because I want to be in a conversation. But I think I was just enjoying watching people's reactions because I'm just like,
why are you surprised?
I like exactly right. Like I'm not surprised. First off, let me tell you what I was most mad about. You want to know what I was most mad about? I was most angry that this teacher does not know what ethnocentric means. That bothered me on a bunch of different levels because I write about it. Ethnocentric is not what he was saying. Ethnocentric is judging other cultures based off your own preconceived notions of your own culture.
You can't even be racist the right way.
I'm just telling you. Exactly. You're not even good at
racism. You're not even good at racism. How dumb do you have to be bad at racism?
It's like when somebody on Twitter corrects your grammar and they make a mistake in the correction of your grammar. So that's one. Two, like, listen, this was a gift. This was a gift from baby Jesus. This is an early Christmas gift. Like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. This person said the quiet thing out loud. They let you know who they were, and he did it very calmly.
Yeah, it was very calm
because there are so many people.
It's a level of comfort with that, right?
Feel that way, like y'all just said with the dying rabbit stuff or whatever. Like so much of the things that we get taught, like right. What do you think Columbus lessons are on, right? Like somebody just said the quiet thing very loudly, and I just feel like you. Let me. If that shocked you, let me really shock you. There's a bunch of black people that feel like that. There's a bunch of black people that feel like you are stupid and your kids are stupid and that you just a mamie and that you ain't raising your kids well and all that stuff. There's a bunch of black people that want you to just assimilate and just be more quote unquote white or whatever. There's whole bodies of research on it. Like we are from a society where phrenology used to be the reigning literature of like how we determine who's smart or not. Yeah. Black people, you got to stop being surprised. We can't talk about racism all day, every day, and then be surprised when some overt racism shit happens. Thank the good Lord that this person told you and showed you who they were and like move accordingly. But you got to start learning how to listen to both the subtext and the supertext. Pay attention to this Harvard case. This Harvard case is riddled with this shit. This Harvard case is riddled with you niggas ain't smart enough to be here and you messing it up for us to be here. And we want to be next in line to be with these white people. Like we are smarter than this, y'all. And I just think that like, if we gonna keep reacting like this to everything, we're not prepared for the war that's in front of us right now.
But I don't think a lot of black people I know or associate with were surprised. I think what I'm seeing is a lot of white people saying like, "Oh my gosh, like, that's in our public schools like that." Like like Chris said, like that whole gaslighting piece, like that to me, that's what I see reactions when the 1,000 of those type of videos show up. It's like, the black folks like, yeah, I remember when I was in school.
Yes.
And I remember
Sharif,
like.
They're phony though. They're phony, bro. They're phony.
Yeah,
like,
which one's phony?
You know what?
So fond.
Well, this is where I think it's phony for them to be like, can you believe this is in our schools? Because listen, we're about to have a holiday called Thanksgiving, and some of them are going to hear some things at Thanksgiving dinner from their uncles, cousins, that side of their white family. Listen, I'm in a very white area. I'm married into a white family. We, all you have to do is scour the Facebook of your own family members, and you can tell which ones are where. Blah blah. No one's surprised. No white person is surprised.
No, that's where the gaslighting comes in, right?
They're surprised he got caught on video. They're like, damn.
You said that next Tuesday. You said that out loud.
They're like, at our next Tuesday meeting, we're gonna have to go over the bylaws with his ass. You don't say this shit on camera.
Not the bylaws,
right? Yeah, we got to go over the bylaws with him. Like, what's wrong with him? He said it on camera. Damn, we gotta like.
In mixed company.
Now we might have to like. Yeah, he said it mixed company. We got to ship him to Cuba or something now. Like,
that's what I'm saying. This person is a gift. He is such a gift. I
really
thank you for this gift because this is the thing, right? Like you just
said, he's a gift from Jesus, though.
He is a gift. He is. Let me tell you what the gift is. The gift is this, right? The gift is this. If people are getting more comfortable. People are getting more comfortable in their bigotry. People are getting more bold in their bigotry. People are not as afraid. They don't feel like they got to hide anymore. And I think that like you want to know where these people are and you want to know where they stand. What I'm saying is like you would be surprised. No, it's not. I agree with you. Well, I think I saw a lot of black people act outraged or act surprised on Twitter when I saw it, when we were sharing it, and I would go and look at the comments and people like, I can't believe this. And it's like, you lived a very charmed life. But I'm gonna tell you, I've worked in districts. We all worked in districts. It be black people that be like, them parents ain't coming to this meeting. This ain't happening. Blah, 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 blah. I'm talking about, I've worked in places where the majority of people are black. The leadership is black. The teacher is black. The principal is black. And that same shit gets said in different ways. So, I mean, like, it's there, man. If you are surprised or shocked by this and you work in education, I am fearful for the environment in which you are inhabiting.
Okay, so I want to add a nuanced argument to this, right? And so a lot of the black folks that exclaim shock to this whole video that we just played, right? So, folks, if you're listening on the audio version, we just played a video with a teacher acting racist like they do. And so, you know, a lot of these people are pro-union people, right? And so the union comes in on the back end and they end up saving this guy's job. And so it can't be a both and type of thing here, right? It's like, yo, this guy's racist and we have no room for this in our profession. So this guy's got to go. Whereas there are things that put in place in terms of collective bargaining that allows this guy to be able to say free speech type of things. And then the union will come in on the back end and will advocate for this guy. This guy goes out on paid leave. It's not unpaid. It's paid.
I disavow.
Right? And then he comes back, and then he comes. Oh, wow! Because
you're gonna be in the rubber room for a little bit.
Yeah, because I'm part of the union, and also because, you know, the union has to do what they're supposed to do in this situation, which is make sure that this teacher gets due process. Right? And due process for him is also due process for the teachers that they're firing for bringing the wrong books into the classroom that are like black books, for instance, right? So the union has to protect every teacher. So I'm done with the blaming unions on everything. Like
I'm not blaming unions on everything.
In this situation, he deserves due process, which since it's on video, since it's on video, the due process should go fast. Is that you on the video? Yeah, that's me on the video. Okay, cool.
Did they dub you? No, they didn't dub me. Is that your voice? Yeah, that's my voice.
He gets a good lawyer. He gets a good lawyer, and his lawyer can explain away with word salads in terms of like what he meant and what he didn't mean. He ends up going to some kind of sensitivity training or whatever, some DEI training, and then the next thing you know, he's back in front of black kids.
Will we feel the same way if he said, "I'm white and I'm proud"? Would it be as controversial?
No.
I just was curious. Yeah, I don't think it would either. I
mean, if somebody say that in my school, like there's a conversation. Tell me more. Yeah. What do you tell me about what you're proud about? Like, tell me more. Like, and there's nothing wrong with white people having identity. Everyone has an identity. But when you associate like certain words and certain terminology that means something that has depth of hatred and murder and mayhem, then we're sitting across the table. We're going to have a conversation. That's going to be the culture that you say something slick and crazy. Know that there's accountability and you're going to explain yourself and you're going to explain to your students or whoever you were talking to. But it ain't just, I just said this, it don't mean nothing. Like, nah, bro, it meant something, and I want to know exactly what you meant.
And I agree with you. And this goes back to us knowing who we are, right? Because black people usually get lumped in with stuff. We started this out talking about the election, and some black men probably did something, but it becomes all black men. White people don't have to deal with that, right? And usually you do hear white people do that, but they don't say I'm white and I'm proud. They say I'm Irish and I'm proud of my Irish heritage, or I'm Russian, or I'm this, or I'm that. And it is because they can trace their lineage back to where they are. And I think that part of this, listen, man, I try
Wait a second. Can I ask you though?
Yeah,
is that true though? Because a lot of them at this point, a lot of white folks at this point.
Oh, I was gonna get to the white people that say white power, because I mean, living in the South,
I don't mean the white power.
No, I mean talking about genealogy.
Yeah, there's a lot of white people now at this point. Their genealogy is trash. They no longer. Actually, let me take that back.
European
that lady from Massachusetts. I
didn't mean to say it like that. I mean, there's such an amalgamation or whatever you call it, amalgamation or whatever.
What did he say?
Elizabeth Warren. He's talking about Elizabeth Warren. Continue.
Yeah. No. I didn't mean this in a derogatory. I just mean that there didn't used to be a real white people. There used to be Polish and Scottish.
Yeah, white is a gang. That's my point. It's a club. It's a members only club that people are vying for, is what I'm saying. And I
don't agree with that either. Like, listen, if someone says there can be such thing as a positive white identity that is not connected to there is a way to be a white human being who has a positive white identity, who is positive about being proud and of who they are, and they are no longer easy to determine that you are Scottish and you are German, like all that. In some cases, like where I live in some of my family members, is very easy to determine. There's some very clear Germans, where I live, white people that still maintain a lot of those traditions. But there's also a lot of white people who couldn't tell you, like two generations before them, you know, where they came from or whatever. Anyways, I only brought this up to say, because Sharif was saying, if you had a teacher that said, I'm white, I'm proud of being white, or something like that.
I'm white and I'm proud.
I'm white and I'm proud. There has to be a future in which white people can have a positive identity in their whiteness.
I'm good with that.
That is not connected to white power, nationalism, and all that stuff.
Yeah, because you can be that and anti-racist at the same time, right? You can have white identity and be anti-racist simultaneously. A lot of times people think like, oh, if you're white, you can't be anti. Like, no. There's a white identity. You trace your culture and lineage. The macaroni salad with raisins that Ray tends to like there may just be things that's
plagiarism.
Like, but my point was
just part of the culture. I don't just be anti-racist at the same time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anybody was saying, and I agree with what you're saying, because my point was I'm bringing it back to us, and I'm bringing it back to there was something that was robbed from us, from many of us, and we don't know. We're not able to do that, right? So we are kind of lumped into just Black, right? General Black. And usually when you meet people that's not from here, that moved here, they're like, no, I'm from here. I am Nigerian, bro. I just need you to understand. And I think that, like, so I'm using moments like this that I can't control, right? And looking at, like, well, what do I know about me? What do I know about these things? I don't have a problem. I lived in Kentucky, so there was a lot of civil rights. I mean, a lot of Civil War stuff. And when me and you were sitting together, Chris, in Minnesota, and I found that book you helped me find, it's like, oh, I could trace some of my people back to the Civil War. If you're a white person and they was at the Union, hey, be proud of that. I just think that what I'm saying is, for us, we need to keep digging and find out who we are and learn about who we are, right? In my family, it's a lot of people that went to jail. It's a lot of people that did a whole bunch of stuff. There's shame and there's things to be proud of in every type of lineage. And until you can have those type of conversations, I just was looking at this and I just wasn't surprised by it. I was more surprised and entertained by all the Black people that I saw surprised online. That was just my interest.
Yo, I think one of the most entertaining things about the whole thing is when people were like, yo, I'll interact with this in a roundabout way, but I'm not retweeting this because I'm not with this charlatan that posted it initially.
Oh, I don't know who posted initially. Okay, for Tariq did. So for people listening, Ray is making reference to Tariq, who was the first person I saw it from.
Oh, okay.
On online and on Twitter, and Tariq has a very powerful profile, like a very.
And it's growing.
And it's growing a very pro-Black, dangerous profile in some ways, in which he's always on that edge of cancellation, but he can't be canceled. He owns himself and he owns his own media situation. So, anyways, I actually want to say that I don't think I saw any Black people that were surprised. I do think Black people reserve the right to still be outraged when things get filmed. And I want to say this, going back, we said this on the show before, to the Rodney King thing. I can remember the prevailing thought was, because it's on video, this is game over. This will be the end of the thing, because that was one of the first times something that we knew was going on for years that we were never surprised about. We were not surprised. We just wanted it captured on film. And then it was on the evening news and it was like, game over. We got you. And the court system was like, you got who? These jokers about to walk free. And that's why a whole city burned. And that's why a whole movement started, whatnot. And then since then, from then on, we had a different relationship with things captured on film.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that it was important, but it wasn't the end all be all. No, it's not that we're surprised, but we do reserve the right to still be outraged every single time we see it.
I saw some where people were like genuinely surprised, but
really, how could this be?
I'm gonna try to find. They were just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe that he said this. I can't believe.
Come on, man, you're Black. Just because we say, come on, stop it, Cole. You're Black. We say I can't believe it. It doesn't mean that I can't believe it. I can't believe half the stuff Ray does, but I know, like, I can believe it. But I say, I can't believe you did that, Ray. And in the back of my head, I know Ray going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Tariq, let me tell you, because this is, and you deal with young people too, but I work with a lot of young people. I work with a lot of Gen Z people. And a lot of Gen Z people see race in a very different way. This is the generation I've seen the most where black people are like, I think my white friends should be able to say nigga. I am surprised around this, and this. I'm telling you, like the conversations, like every time something like this happens, and I know we're going to talk about it, I try to talk about it with some of our young people and get their reaction. And some of those people were genuinely surprised that like that was like a thing that was happening, like that somebody would say that. Like, I'm telling you, bro, things is different, man. These generations are very, very different, bro. And like, but I get what you're saying. I'll just
no, I hear you. Some of our youth are not being educated well. And they may not have been exposed. They may be protected to a certain degree, but also means that they ain't
they're y'all do this.
I'm not gonna
let you old people do this. You know what? The only thing that saved democracy in this last election is the forward thinking, fluid thinking. No, young people, Gen Z.
Yeah, they did, man. They showed
Gen
up.
Z. Gen Z. That's the people that just saved your ass because they think fluidly. They don't believe in institutions. They're not left or right. They're not one way or the other. But they know injustice when they see it.
Right.
And they are. Our young people don't need the type of educating that we think that they need. Some of our old people. That are on some real BS.
Well, it's probably across the continuum. Nobody has a monopoly on, the nonsense. I agree with you on that. And there's some young folks. This is the same generation as quiet quitting. That means there are some issues. There's some glitches.
Who they quitting though? Old people that have stole everything. Old people that have stole the whole world and talk about I'm mad at you because you don't want to work. I don't want to work. You done took everything.
But this is what I was saying.
Rape the fields, rape the planet, rape the world.
There are also the people that's breaking. This is why you also can't trust polls as much no more, right? Because they're a wild card. Young people are not answering phones. They're not doing polls. They're not.
That's right.
You ask them something outside the thing, they've really made this into a new game. And a lot of old people are very, very upset. I saw a few white people floating around. We should raise the voting age after.
That was a thing.
Did you see that?
Stop mail-in ballots. Yeah. Raise the age. All kind of nonsense. We're trying to get it younger. Like I want 16-year-olds to be able to vote.
So one thing that we got to acknowledge, right, is that we got to acknowledge the Democratic chair, the national chair, that black man, Jamie Harrison, out of South Carolina. He ran a campaign against Lindsey Graham, didn't win, and then got catapulted to the Democratic chair. And so, those are the people that are putting money in campaigns like nationwide. So it's like, all right, we can give this credit to Schumer, we can give this credit to Biden. I know Obama did a lot of things on the front end and the back end in terms of galvanizing Democrats, but hey, we got to give a shout out to the Democratic chair. Shout out to that black man.
Are you sure you're a Republican?
I was about to say because I don't Democrat.
Here's the thing, right?
I'm a Democrat. Come on back. I'm just saying.
I give credit where credit is due.
Don't do it.
Right? I give credit where credit is due. If folks earned respect, bro, they did
you vote for anything Republican in this last election?
No, the last couple. See, that's why you got that cap on. That's the real reason why you got a cap. All cap.
What this cap is, right? This is education as a civil right down in Baton Rouge.
Like, listen, I'm a Democrat, crotchety as ever, but I'm a Democrat. That's why I'm very frustrated. But if I was a Republican and I heard you talking like this, I'd be like, bro, it's not a Republican. Like you're not even a fiscal. But here's the point, man.
He is a fiscal. Start talking about taxes and stuff like that. You'll get his Republicanism real quick.
Hey.
He's not a cultural Republican. He's a fiscal Republican as hell, though. He's stingy. Yeah. He's stingy as hell. He does not like people. He like profits.
Hey, listen, man. You gotta
go libertarian there, brother. Go live.
That's not libertarian.
Last segment of the show, Charles. You queuing this up, man. Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live came in last night. What they talk about and how we swinging it in?
He's like, let me give you the screen so you can cancel yourself because you are the guy that carries Dave Chappelle's water. I am the Dave Chappelle fan. Listen, I loved. I enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of outrage that probably wasn't warranted, but people can feel how they want to feel. I think Dave Chappelle had a great monologue. I think he gave it to everybody. I think a lot of things that we articulated or spoke about in last week's show about all these things. I think he was able to take those and have really funny, clear, succinct thoughts. And today he's getting, you know, pressure from certain communities or whatnot. But I thought it was entertaining. I wanted to see a throwback to the Chappelle show. There was a rumor that some of the writers walked out and didn't participate, which I think only opened the door for him to do it Chappelle show style, which I got to see some of those favorite characters. But this is my point. I'll just end on this. If you can laugh at the black jokes, if you can laugh at the jokes of us making fun of ourselves, if you can laugh at the things and those shortcomings, and then something gets said about you, and then now you want to protest and throw stuff and be upset, then listen, man, that's just not you're not coming to this table in the same kind of way. You get what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of hurt and pain that black people have gone through, and we do like to we like comedy. We like to go. You know, Bernie Mac had a super funny stand up that he couldn't do now, but you know, he talked about his sister being. But he talked about at the core of that, his sister was on drugs. His family was getting broken up, and he took her kids in, and he talked about those things that happened. Eddie Murphy talked about his alcoholic father and the things going on in his house and all that stuff, right? And I just think that comedy has just been one of those vessels, man. But listen, I ain't gonna tell nobody how to feel. I ain't gonna tell nobody how to think. I personally enjoy SNL is not like appointment TV every single week. Even though I do watch it, I thought it was funny, and I think they're gonna keep having them back because people watch. Even if you hate watch, they watch. So that's just my take on the Chappelle joint.
Yeah, Chris, what were your thoughts?
I think I told y'all this. I've been watching SNL since the 70s. So there's lots of things I felt about it. Like this is one of those years where the cast switches over. So it's a building year. So I don't, you know, it's not nearly as funny in its building years, like when you get the first new cast and everything in. So I feel like it was smart to have him on because it revitalized what could be this could be a bad season for SNL. They always are. Usually I've yet to see a building year that was good. So you have to invigorate it with some people that bring some ratings and some life to it. I thought it was fine. Like, listen, the thing that I've already told you guys, like off camera, what I thought was interesting about it is Chappelle is like, he knows who not to mess with. You know, for all of his fearlessness and all of that or whatnot. If I was Kanye, I would feel like my homie kind of was not with me. I would feel like he'll give it to the gays and to the LGBTQ and to black people even, and he'll say nigga and bitch and all this other stuff and whatnot. But there was an awful lot of deference in that brilliant monologue that he did. And if I was Kyrie or Kyrie, or Kanye or whatnot, I would be feeling like a little bit like my fearless hero didn't 100% have my back a little bit because he knows where the third rail is. So for all that fearlessness and all that stuff, whatever, you know, at the end of the day, I felt like there was a lot of difference.
That was the joke. The joke was that what shall not be named. Like, and listen, they are on his ass today.
I know what the joke was.
But they are on.
He could have went a different way with that.
Reef is lost, and I don't know if context clues is helping him right now. So
Reef did just like he was just like we just left him on the path. He just
there was a comedy show. As a matter of fact, you texted it. I didn't get a chance to read it, but you know.
Yeah. So Dave Chappelle.
Saturday Night Live. I mean,
Saturday Night Live,
if the church lady wasn't on there, that's the last time I think I saw.
Damn, bro. Damn, Dana Carvey. That's classic.
He went way back.
Damn, that was like with Pepsi Clear. Damn.
I thought, you know what I thought I thought they was gonna bring back Pat for a second. I was like, he ain't that bold.
No, listen, and
he ain't that bold to bring back Pat.
The one segment that they did a segment that was based on this Game of Thrones type of show, which I have not seen, but I've heard a lot about. And they had black characters introduced into that show, and all the black characters turned out to be characters from Chappelle show, which I thought was like pretty interesting. Bring it back. But then when I saw, so one was a crackhead, one was Rick James.
Tyrone
was like they all had some, you know. I just felt. It was a little, I feel like Randy on American Idol. It was a little pitchy for me, dog. You know, it got a little weird in the middle. It was a little pitchy for me, dog. It was a no for me, dog. But I knew as I was watching, everybody's going to be like, Dave was brilliant. I knew that was going to happen. But in the beginning,
especially on this podcast,
don't be a hater.
No, I don't mean on this, but I meant,
I knew that. Even without saying it was brilliant. It was the best thing since sliced bread.
Never said that. Never said that.
People underestimate him. He's a genius. He's a genius. I love that guy.
He ain't watched it. He ain't said nothing. He ain't nothing. He just be talking. And nobody said that. All we said was it was a good show. It was a good monologue. You know what? While we're at it, Nas might have the album of the year as well.
Like a Capper, CAPPER right now, yo.
Listen, and Nas King's Disease 3 is out as well, and that might be one of the best things that came out this year too. So add that to your batch of hyperbole, sir.
I just like listen. I laughed, so I did think a lot of it was funny. I thought some of it was funny. I did think, like the thing. First of all, the thing that I like about Chappelle that makes me laugh is the ghetto part of his humor, right? But I did think he walked very lightly in that monologue in a very un-Dave-like way, in my mind. Just in my mind, I'm just saying. And it was two of his homies that were affected that he... I mean, listen, I'm not going to cape for Kanye. I'm just saying, if I was Kanye, I might be thinking a little something like, bro, you came all the way to Wyoming and saw me, like Wyoming nowhere, and was my homie and was with me, and this is the way you treat me on national TV. See, Sharif's not going to know nothing about all this.
I don't.
Was that what you say?
I don't feel that way. I don't know if Ray feels that way, but I don't think he treated Kanye or Kyrie bad. I think he was making a point and saying you barked up the wrong tree, and that and it was kind of really. You
didn't feel it though,
I
Charles.
think,
but how do you think Kanye? This is what I said.
If I was
Kanye felt. He lives in Wyoming now.
Oh my God! Yes,
he's lived in Wyoming for the last
he lives in a lot of places, but he's in LA across the street from his ex-wife and his kids, and in Chicago and Wyoming.
Which is being normalized because you got Tom Brady's wife who just brought a crib across the water, and she's right there, and nobody's making a big deal about that. Nobody's like, oh, she bought a house right by Tom Brady. No, because the shit is normal unless Kanye does it.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit more there. There's a little bit more that happened. But
there are two people in this show who care deeply. So that's
that care deeply
to your question.
So I don't know. Go ahead, brother.
So I'll close this out with this before we go into final thoughts, right? So my man Reef, right, was given an award today by the greatest fraternity in the world. The Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated honored Sharif El-Mekki today by giving him what was it, Lifetime Achievement Award? What they give you, Reef?
Not lifetime, but an award about educational commitment to the community.
Yeah. And so shout out to
Omega Lambda chapter and foundation. So really grateful for those brothers. It was dope. It was dope. And they were giving out several awards.
But how did they find you? Did they recruit? They were.
They said we still want you.
You never know. I might find a grad chapter and just figure out how to cross the burning sand.
Hey,
you know what I
mean? Did Sharif El-Mekki on our live show just say to the people that he is researching? Hey, that he is researching grad chapters for the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Did we just hear that?
Hey, Reef, you better not. I just on you, bro. I want to be friends with you, bro. Just off of GP, off of what you stand for.
What? This is a
grad chapter in the streets, bro.
Listen, bro. Carter G. Woodson is one of those honorary members, bro. Like this is
he's doing his research.
He's an educational hero, bro. Like,
do you want to be an honorary member of anything?
Yeah, he never said anything about being an honorary member.
Yeah, I did. I was just giving the example of Carter G. Woodson. I didn't say I would. When I go in, I go all in. I don't need to be honorary. You know what I'm saying?
I swear to God, I'll trip him in the streets. I swear. I swear for the Lord.
Let's go at closing thoughts. We'll start with you, Chris. Closing thoughts.
Again, another good show. Democracy in America has survived election. Congratulations to Gen Z, to Black people, to the half of people of color that are not trying to be white, and the half of white people that are not trying to see their country go down in white supremacist flames. Congratulations, you saved America. And I appreciate you. You did a good job. Like, you get a star. So good for you. I'm also going to plug that the 8 Black Hands are going to be in Philadelphia next week. And we're going to be at a function that is going to have hundreds of Black males who are educators and teachers in one place over a couple of days, who are collaborating together and finding ways to create a movement of Black men that are willing to show up and be accounted for when it comes to the education of our children. And I can't say enough about how much of a big deal that is. And I can't say enough about how some of y'all need to be ponying up more money. Some of y'all need to fund the revolution and stop talking about it all the time. So that's 2 groups of people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about people with a lot of money who aren't funding this, who should be. I'm talking to you. Hundreds of Black men coming together for an education conference is a big deal. You should be funding it. And then for individual Black people who like to talk a good game, who got extra cash and be buying fancy things all the time, I think you should find BMEC. I think you should find Sharice's organization, the Center for Black Educator Development. I think you should make a donation. I think you should take whatever bullshit money you're about to spend tomorrow on shit you don't need to impress people you don't love, and take that money at least for 1 day or 2 days and send it to Sharif to do something real in the world. And maybe don't get your nails done, or maybe like don't buy any of that like Starbucks or something. I don't know. Just take some of the money and give it to. Anyways, that's all I got to say for this week. The revolution will be literate. We will be in Philadelphia as a four contingent of 4 intellectual Black people who ain't about the nonsense. We're about these kids. That's it.
Yeah. Man, hey, thanks for that. Hey, and shout out to Miss Joyce Abbott in the audience. Abbott. Yeah, let's go.
That's what's up.
All right, Charles, on you.
Do you want to say who that is for people that don't know who you're talking about, brother?
Everybody should know who we're talking about. If they don't, then
I promise you they don't. So just say it. Go ahead. You go ahead.
They need to Google or something.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this right now, Joyce Abbott is in the comments. And if you don't know who Joyce Abbott is a teacher from Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area, who has a TV show that is named after her called Abbott Elementary. She is such a good teacher that she left a mark on one of her students to the point where that student grew up and did amazing things in the world, of which now millions of people know the name of this show, Abbott Elementary. And she happens to be in the 8 Black Hands comments right now, which is dope as hell.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Hey, Reef, didn't she teach one of your kids?
She did. She taught my oldest son, Ali. And she, by far, is one of the best teachers that I've ever seen. She's one of those teachers where every year I was like, man, my son needs a Miss Abbott. All my kids need a Mrs. Abbott, right? Like, they all every year. Like, and just when I think about the Black teaching tradition that Akoso had talked about when she was on the show, when I think about like that Black excellence, when I think about high expectations and high support, and this idea or orientation of we're going there together, we're all going to reach this destination together. Miss Abbott exudes that, so I'm grateful. She'll actually be on a panel on Thursday at BMEC, which I'm just excited. So, and she's on a panel with Dr. Travis Bristol, Dr. Constance Lindsay, Rand Miller, and Joyce Abbott. So together, like I think that's the researchers, and then the activist practitioners, right, who do action research, right? So researchers and action researchers. I'm just excited and grateful to have her. She's retired. She just retired. And I think her influence will just continue to spread,
That's awesome.
Charles, on you.
Yeah, man. I think I've been talking about this. There's it's been a bittersweet last few months. A lot of boards that I served on that I've been stepping down from. So just officially stepped down from the UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital Board. We're overseeing $4 billion in healthcare stuff and doing a lot of work around sickle cell anemia for Black kids across the country. It's just a really, I enjoy my service there. And then also with some other just news with it. I'm giving this to my aunt so she can keep it for our family, but I got a proclamation from Oakland, from the city of Oakland, just recognizing just the work that I've done there in education and in healthcare and social work and the few different things that I started there. They spelled a name wrong, but my aunt doesn't care, and she's been the person that's been holding up that stuff. So this is probably the most meaningful thing I've ever gotten, especially as much as I love Oakland and putting on for that city, and you know, and doing stuff for Chicago and Kentucky. And so thank you all for letting me serve. To Benioff Children's Hospital, to all the schools, to all the other organizations, to Professor Jen Wright, who I'm still on this board, but I'm rolling off, and a few other places, man. Thank you for allowing me to do that. And you know, a lot of people talk about their city and this, down the third. I don't own nothing in Oakland, but that place owns my heart. I will always love that place, even though it's changing. And yeah, man. But I was really surprised to get that, and it made me emotional. So I wanted to share with the A Black Hands folks.
Appreciate you, bro, as always.
We need some applause sound effects. Yeah. There you go. And also for the culture. For the culture. He did it for the culture.
I'm working on my sounds, man. We're gonna get live.
Yeah,
Reef, close us out, man.
Look, man, I'm glad to see you all. Again, shout out to Omega Lambda Foundation and chapter. And look, we're excited to welcome you all. A Black Hands closes us out on Friday at Black Men Educators Convening. So super excited about that. Ilyasa Shabazz will be there. Malcolm X's daughter. She'll keynote on Saturday. You know, and so many of our friends who've come through the A Black Hands. You know, Salome Thomas L. and Principal Kafele and so many others, man, will be a part of this, this community and being in community together. You know, this is our fifth one, national, and our 13th overall. You know, we used to do these regional before it became, before we did the first national one in 2017. You know, as we said before, Cole's been to several of them, Ankrum as well, and Chris, you were at the first one, October 1, 2015. So it's crazy to me. This is now 2022. And, just continuing to build together and be in community with each other in this space, to me is, just a part of this service that, that we is our pleasure, duty, and honor. But, that's all I have to say about it. Pleasure, duty, and honor. So looking forward to seeing y'all later this week, man. Yeah,
I liked it better when it was in October, bro. I had a nice pink MCM bag.
You can still do that, whatever that is. You can still do that, and I hope you wear some of your ugly, expensive shoes so I can just take pictures of them, post them, make jokes about them.
It's gonna be a movie, baby. It's gonna be a movie. No worries, it's gonna be a movie. Well, folks, you've been listening to another.
You want to give us your final thought, brother?
You have. You know what? I'm gonna give a final thought. And so, let's see how we're gonna do this. All right, so my final thought tonight is that racism in classrooms is something that is gonna exist and continue to exist. But my message to parents is that you got to start believing your kids, right? You got to start asking those real questions in terms of what your kids' experience is in these schools. You got to stop handing your kids over with this blind trust that we often do. I think that things are different now in terms of how our children experience school. It's not the same kind of thing to where when a teacher called home, you automatically thought that your child was guilty with our generation. These kids have feelings, they have thoughts, they have concerns, and we need to be opening up and listening to their concerns so that we can help them do the things that they need to do in order for them to be great. We're our children's first teachers, and we need to act like it, and we need to be concerned about what's happening in these classrooms. That's my final thought. All right, so you guys have been listening to another episode of the 8 Black Hands podcast. Can't wait to see y'all in Philadelphia. It's gonna be a movie. Peace.
What does that mean?